There's two sides of the game. One that you pointed out, which is important, and it's what people get caught up in.
Yeah.
But there is, and I'm trying to think of how I would describe this to someone. One is the practical, tangible metrics. Like I was just working with a client, he wants to lose 40 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did some math.
Mm-hmm.
And the math is pretty simple. If you eat 500 calories less per day, and you do that for every day for 40 weeks, you'll lose a pound a week,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll lose 40 pounds. And he wrote me this text. It's in my phone. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. And it says, and this is really important because of what people, their thought is. He wrote, "Is that enough, do you think? Can we get more aggressive on this?" This is interesting. So this is the first part that people do when they want a result. Can we just get more aggressive on this? I'm like, sure, get a chainsaw. We could hack off a leg and get you there pretty quick. And so can we get more aggressive on this? The other thing is, I could be good for a week, 7 days, and lose a little weight every day. And then it adds up to maybe 2 pounds, which it wouldn't. It'd be 1 pound lost.
Yeah.
And then I have one bad day, just one bad day. And I'll gain 3 to 4 pounds. Oh. And so when people tell me stuff like that, what they're telling me is they're, number one, looking for a fast result. Number two, they haven't adopted an identity of the type of person that makes this kind of result happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because when they're telling me that they consistently do a week on and then just 1 day off, and a week on and 1 day off, that's like an alcoholic who only drinks on Wednesdays, but he's totally getting sober and he's totally off the bottle and he's not an alcoholic anymore. But on Wednesdays, I mean, every Wednesday gets me.
Exactly.
That's still an alcoholic, even though it's 1 day a week instead of 7.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, it's a smoker who, someone doesn't do drugs. They didn't do drugs, but then on Thursdays, they just pop a couple pills because, it's Thursday. Yeah. Like, no, you're still a drug addict. Mm. And so the challenge is the identity is the first step. And when things really change, specifically in weight loss, it's when someone becomes an athlete, a runner, a power lifter, an Iron Man or woman, something clicks, their identity shifts, and all of a sudden they're living by a different set of standards. Yeah. I just got back from flying. I was telling you, when we got started here. And when you become a pilot, you live to a different set of standards. I don't know about you, but when I get on a plane and like the pilot standing there and saying like, "Welcome to the plane," I'm not worried. Like, are you like a 50% lander or like 75% lander? Like, do you land this thing 75% of the time and then 25, you never know what's going to happen? Like when you get on a flight with an airline, you expect that pilot is a 100% of the time puts the plane on the ground properly and lands everyone safely.
We'd take a boat, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you wouldn't get on the plane. Exactly. You'd be insane. You'd be one of those people that complains when they say they have maintenance issues on the flight and they go, "Oh, this is such crap. What the plane's broken. Oh, why?" I'm like, dude, if you want to fly on the broken plane, by all means, get out there. Darwinism will take its effect. We'll clean up some spaces and we'll be good. People complain about a broken plane and why they can't fly on it. It's like, okay, go figure it out yourself. I'll stay here.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing. You expect the pilot to uphold a certain standard.
Sure.
Most of us want the result without upholding the standard. Most of us want the result without becoming the type of person that gets that result. Most of us want the result without the work. I'll give you another analogy. I use this one all the time, and it's a really nice little visual. It might be backwards because of the camera here.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
But if we drew a little chart, and we're going to be X. So we're going to start off right in the bottom corner here. We're X. That's where we're starting. And we want to like go somewhere in life. And so if we do right over here, we're going to put the 99%, which is the average normal type of results that most people get in life. And then you got to look around in your country, where you're from, in your village, in your city, and that stuff, and say, how are most people doing? Now, if most people have the exact result you want in life, by all means, do whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But for most of us, when you look around in your city and you look around your village and you look around your part of the world and you go, oh, I don't know if I want to turn out like most people. Like most people aren't that happy around here. Most people aren't that healthy around here. Most people aren't that like alive emotionally and vital and passionate about their lives. Most people are not happily married around here. Most people are not spiritually connected around here. Some are, but not most.
Yeah.
And so we say, well, what do we really want then? We don't want the 99%. We don't want to be unhealthy, unhappy, out of shape, headed for divorce and struggling paycheck to paycheck. It's like, well, what do we want? Well, most people, we write down, we want to be the 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We want the 1%.
Yeah.
But then, you hear what the news and the media says about the 1%. You're like, oh no, I don't want to be that kind of greedy bastard. Like they're horrible. Those horrible 1%ers. But then I ask people, do you want to be the 1% of contributors to your community, the 1% of people who give more to the great causes? And they're like, yeah. Do you want to be the 1% of the healthiest people in your community? Of course. Do you want to be the 1% of the happiest people in your community? Yes. Do you want to be the 1% of people with wildly passionate, deep, incredible relationships, not only intimately, but with your friends, your family, with the people around you? Like, of course. Like, okay. And then we look at the 1%, and at least in the US, we say, okay, what is the 1%? And the 1% is like $389,000 a year in income, which most people go, oh, I mean, that's good. But is that the dream? Is that what goes on the vision board? Is that what people write down and think about all day long when they're imagining stuff? They certainly don't imagine the 99%. They don't even imagine the 1%. They actually are imagining the 0.001% of results that happen in the world. That's what they're imagining. Mm. And I go, so that's like the vacation home, taking your family around the world, being ultra healthy, finishing the Ironman, having those abs, man or woman, doesn't matter. Like that's the 0.001% of humans, which is fascinating. But then we say, okay, what kind of habits do you have? Mm-hmm. And the one that screws people is when their habits are the 99% habits and they're trying to dream of the 0.001% results. Like the math doesn't work. Yeah. Now, this is where math is important. Because this is where you got to go, oh, wait a second. These habits will never, no matter how many times we add them up, these habits right here will never get me here, and they'll never get me here.
Exactly. The analogy that comes to mind for me is it's like if you go and you sit down and you ask a guy who's been divorced 3 times for advice on how to have a perfect marriage. Yeah. It ain't going to work.
Well, I'll tell you, everyone's an example and a warning.
Yeah.
I used to say oral warning, and I was a little judgmental on people, and I lost some friends and all this stuff. Then I thought about it. I'm like, no, they're an example and a warning. Mm-hmm. Somewhere in their life, they're a beautiful example where they're getting some type of ridiculous 0.001% result. Mm-hmm. Somewhere in their life, they're a big-ass warning of what not to do. Mm-hmm. And so when I look at people, and I've had people reach out and go, I've seen you say this before. Why is there a war on average? Like, average is normal. Normal is normal. Like, why is everyone threatened by normal? Why can't we just be normal and normal? And I said, here's the thing. Watch this. If this is what you're aiming for, and this is what you're doing, and you're happy about it, yes, you've won the game of life. Don't do anything different. Stay there. Keep doing it. God bless you. I've got your back. High five. Keep going. If you're doing this, getting this, and you're pissed about it, you need to change something. If you're dreaming of this and getting this, you either need to change the dream to be more where you're headed, or change the habits to actually get you to the dream. That's all. It's to the people who are upset about the gap that exists. Because there's a lot of people who are like, but I work so hard. They work so hard doing normal shit all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they're pissed that they don't get these results.
Yeah.
And so there becomes this curiosity of like, well, what the hell does it take to get here?
Yeah.
And the crazy part is it's usually not that much. Yeah. It's just doing things consistently. Mm-hmm. Like losing 40 pounds. That's a 0.001% result. Like very few people do that successfully and keep it off. Mm-hmm. They can lose it, but they gain it back. And the reason they lose and gain it back is they do something extreme. I'm going to juice cleanse for 4 days, and then I'm not going to eat anything for 3 months. And then and then I'm just going to live that way forever. Not going to happen. 3 months later, you're like, oh, finally, it's over. Oh,
It's
you're like,
self-image though as well, isn't it, Jared? It's self-image as well. If on the inside they still think of themselves as an overweight person, eventually they're going to return to the same habits that support.
yeah.
Their
Or
own
someone who's massively in debt wins the lottery. They go up 200 million euro, pounds, dollar, francs, whatever. They 200 million up.
Yeah.
And research shows 3 years later, they'll be negative worse than when they started.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It wasn't the money. It was the routine. It was the habits.
Yeah.
And so this is something I look for when we invest in companies, when we invest in people, when we invest in situations, charities, anything. I say, okay, what are the current habits? Now, whatever the results are, we can reverse engineer the habits they have. And if they have good habits, but it's just doing really small, if we fan the flame of that habit, it'll just help good things get bigger. If they have bad habits and we fan the flame by adding capital to that habit, it's just going to make things worse.
Yeah.
And so this is the tricky part. When we get into this concept, we got to then figure out, what are the good habits we need to fan the flame of in your life?
Yeah.
And what are the bad habits or not so good habits or not helpful habits that we need to like smother in your life and get rid of? And it's a simple way of saying, what do you need to start doing more of and what do you need to stop doing?
Yeah.
There's certain things you're doing that you need to stop doing if you want this result. And there's certain things you need to start doing consistently. The guy I was talking about, he needs to stop having random cheat days. That's not helping losing the 40 pounds. Yeah. And I don't care how fired up he is. I don't care what his big reason why is. I don't care how many times he tells me he's going to do it no matter what. And he's 100% committed. If he doesn't change the habit, it ain't going to work.
Exactly.
No, he's just going to yo-yo back and forth. Yeah. If he changes the habit, which means he has to change the identity, and habits are simple: trigger, routine, reward. There's 3 parts to them, scientifically proven. He needs to figure out what the trigger is that causes him to go have the cheat day. He needs to replace the cheat day with something new and then get the same reward. And if you replace the habit with a new habit that's actually positive, kapow.
Like, hey, it's Robert here. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you've really enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed this, then please subscribe to this channel and come back and see many more, doing these things all the time. And if you want to know when the next one comes up, click the little bell and you'll get a notification each and every time we've got a new video up there for you to have a look at. And the other thing is, I nearly forgot. If you love everything to do with personal development, business development, and just getting yourself into a peak state, then you're going to want to get over to my free webinar training, which is going to show you exactly the steps to take to overcome any inner barriers that are stopping you from achieving in life and business right now, and exactly what to do to get that put right and start living the life of your dreams, starting right now. Sounds like a tall order? Promise you, you can do this stuff. Get across to my webinar training. The link is in the description below this video. I hope to see you there. And at the very least, I hope that you click the bell. I hope you subscribe to the channel. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Take good care. Bye-bye.